Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the show, one of my favorite women wrestlers, one of the listeners' favorite wrestlers. She is a former WWE NXT superstar, current TNA knockout, or is she? We'll find out. The one and only Killer Kelly is here.
Hey.
So, how are you, Kelly?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Currently in the heat of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Barely surviving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up in Canada. We usually keep it cold, but it is it's staying hot up here as well. But right off the bat, I try to ask a fun question, and I know you're a horror movie fan, as am I. My girlfriend loves scaring the shit out of me with horror movies whenever she can. What's your favorite scary movie of all time if you had to choose one?
Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors, as you can see from my water cup.
I like that.
Yeah, I love Freddy.
Got one with like a Chucky head in it somewhere. I can't find it, but that's amazing. And so, speaking of horror movies, obviously, I ask, you are currently working on or have wrapped a short horror film, Arachnid.
Yes, I have.
So tell me about your involvement in that and like how that experience was, compared to especially wrestling, the wrestling grind,
Yeah. So it actually, being on wrestling and like TV tapings and all of that, it was kind of similar like as to shooting a promo, but it's longer days of just filming and shooting and reshooting. But I love the experience. I love working with Luke, who I know from, TNA, and he's the director. And just the whole experience was new, was amazing. And I really want to do it again. I feel like I have that I fit well within the horror movie industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the scenes that we did, all of the scenes that hopefully soon everyone will see, they're badass and they're so cool, and I can't wait for the world to see it.
I'm excited for it. And when does that, do you have like a timeline on when that comes out, or is it just like is it just currently being edited, etc.?
Yeah, it's currently being edited, and there's no set date. And I don't want to, like, Luke has told me some dates, but he's not sure himself, so I'm not gonna just tell everyone that it's gonna happen in August, when it might take a little bit while. And since it's an independent movie, it's not like backed up by big production and all of that. Like, you never know.
Right. And so what was your involvement in that, as far as like, are you the lead in it? Can you talk about it at all? Are you, can you shed some light on that?
As my name pertains, I truly am the killer in the movie.
Let's go. I'm excited. Yeah. That's incredible. You're a big time fan favorite of this show, particularly. I spent so much time gushing on this podcast over yourself and the brilliant run with Masha Slamovich as the knockout champions. Of course, rivals first. The listeners voted MK Ultra one of our tag teams of the year last year.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. Like, you two, just the storytelling behind it all was so brilliant. And, it really helped. I feel like, TNA really picked up a lot of steam. I feel like this story and you and Masha were a big part of that. And you two started out as foes, brawling in vignettes and backstage. And then you're fighting in matches. And then you became like frenemy pseudo lovers. And then, of course, champions and everything. It was just phenomenal. So I'm curious, like, did TNA come to you guys with this long story arc already laid out? Or were you guys kind of making it up week to week? Or were you pitching it? Like, how did that all come together and sort of play out?
So I've been signed to TNA for a long time before I actually had my debut. And I remember seeing Masha have her debut and her whole like kind of like psycho character and all of that. And since the day that I saw her debut on television, I was like, oh my God, we're like kind of similar. And it like, until I had my official debut, I've always thought like, oh my god, we would be paired up like really well and all that, but I never said anything to anyone on TNA,
Mm.
and neither to her. But I was always thinking like back of my mind, okay, let me just do my own thing in the beginning. But then I was like, okay, I feel like we're being put like far away from each other in this beginning. Because there's like some reasoning behind it. I think they might want us to do something together. And when they didn't even come with the idea per se, they just said, "Hey, you and Masha are gonna have a match together," and we're like, "Sick! Let's do it. Let's kill it, knock it out of the park." And I feel like they saw a really good chemistry, and they started to roll the ball with the idea of us maybe teaming together. They never actually told us, "Hey, you're gonna team together. You're gonna team." We just had that idea, like, oh, it seems like they're gonna go this route. So we started like plotting and talking about it and went on. And then we just, we just teamed one day, and I was like, "Yep, I think they want to do something with us." And we just clicked as a team, and every single time after the first time that we teamed, it was just like us brainstorming with the writers and all of that. So basically everything that you saw on television, it was basically me and Masha just
Wow.
just rolling with it, and literally going to shoot a backstage promo, and we would be like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, let's just roll with it. Like, turn on the camera, and we're gonna do something. And it always worked, and it was fantastic.
Absolute magic, and
Uh,
just to bring it back to something you said a little bit ago. So TNA had you signed a long time before you debuted. Might I ask, why was that? Like, was it like a recruitment type thing, or did you have other commitments you had to finish up or something?
COVID.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
was
the
I was
part we
stuck in
all like to try and
Portugal.
forget, right?
Yeah, I was stuck in Portugal. Like, they offered me, so I did the tag team tournament. And the next day, so it was 2 days of tapings. The next day, they offered me a contract. And I was like, hell yeah, let's freaking do it. And I even signed the contract when I was still in the US. Then I went back to Portugal. I thought, oh, is this going to be a couple of months, gather my stuff, take care of like the visa situation, blah, blah, blah. No, it just took a long time.
No doubt.
And yeah, like I was trapped in Portugal for like 9 months. And then I found like a little loophole of how to get into the States, but I still couldn't work because I was in a process of getting the visa. So I literally, I arrived in the US. I took like 2 or 3 indie bookings, not 2 or 3, I think like a handful of indie bookings. And then they're like, it is not a good idea you working. Just please stop working until we have everything situated. I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense. So then it was another high, like I stopped working for a little bit. And then finally, after like half a year or more than half a year in the States, no, it wasn't half a year. It was almost a year. I finally was able to work. Like, it was ridiculous, like all the waiting.
Yeah, and you so was becoming a TNA knockout, was that like a bucket list thing for you in your career prior?
Definitely. Like, I was very fortunate to reach one of my main goals in such an early stage of my career, which was to get to WWE. Excuse me. And it's drinking coffee. Like,
I'm on the same boat over here.
Yeah. So I reached one of my bucket list goals. I was like the first Portuguese signee to WWE. Like, it was crazy. And then I was like, okay, I do have other goals. I want to go to Japan. Definitely, I want to wrestle for Impact, TNA now. And once I did those tapings, I was like, God damn, I really want to be a knockout. Like, I literally grew up watching WWE. And then once I was like 13 or 14, I found TNA and I fell in love with TNA. Like, I I was obsessed with it.
I'm the same
And
way. Yeah.
yeah, I was obsessed with the beautiful people. Like I was like, oh my god, they're amazing. I was obsessed with Gail. I remember seeing Gail was one of the first people that I saw that I was like, oh, she's from WWE. Oh, she's here now. Oh, she's amazing. Like, I don't know why they like this Gail wasn't in WWE. Like, she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was obsessed with Taylor Wilde. I even like I've told her a million times that I was obsessed with her. My first like official gear was inspiring Taylor Wilde. So I've always had like that connection with the TNA knockout. So once I became one, it was surreal.
So now to bring, I guess, contract talks or whatever to the present time. So like there's rumors about your status with TNA as of late, and we touched on it. You're filming a flick, you know what I mean? But TNA specifically, there's rumors about like, you know, you're filming a horror movie. We touched on that. People are saying you're eyeing up NXT or WWE again. People are saying you're just taking a break, all of these different things. But can you shed some light? Yes or no, Killer Kelly? You are still, in fact, a TNA knockout currently, correct?
Yes, I'm a TNA knockout.
Guys.
Come on now, look at this.
Let's go.
I'm a TNA knockout. Like, I don't know. Like, I know why the rumor started. I definitely know why. Because it was a miscommunication between. I'm not gonna get deep into it. Like all the dirt sheets already got into it. I was just really ridiculous. Like ridiculous how that got that far away to the point that I was like, "Did you guys fire me?" And they're like, "No, what the hell?"
Oh my god, really? It got that bad where you had to ask?
Yeah, I had to ask because I was out of the roster page because someone within TNA thought that I wasn't with TNA anymore because of the dirt sheet. So they just decided to take me off the website. And I was like, the higher ups didn't even know that happened. I went to the higher ups. I was like, hey guys, so this is happening. They were like, what the is happening?
Oh my goodness.
They made a call. Everything got settled. I was just like, okay.
See, that's why I don't try and report news. I say it. I'm the clown in the corner making jokes. You know what I mean? I don't try and do that because it's such I don't want to affect anyone's career with like my bad reporting on, you know, I just don't go. I just don't do it that way. But I mean, shout out those who do. But damn, I didn't realize it got that serious. And it must have been tricky. So speaking of like the higher ups, you know, you were there when Scott D'Amore was there. And of course now, and then he went along. So how was that transitional phase sort of for you? Were you in the mix of it? Was there chaos backstage or was it rather smooth and seamless? Or can you shed any light on that at all?
I mean, it was smooth and seamless because like us, the wrestlers, we don't get to see what happens in those meetings and all of that. We basically just, you know, independent contractors that go there, have their matches, write their stories, pitch every now and then, but those conversations were not a part of it. So it was just weird not seeing Scott on the next set of tapings.
Right.
Because I'm very thankful for Scott for everything that he's done in my career. Like, I love Scott. He's great. Like, he makes me laugh. He was a really great boss. But it was just weird not seeing him. That was it. And then, we have new bosses. Okay. They're cool people too. But that was it. Yeah, it's just sad not seeing him backstage.
And so like creatively and stuff, what changed there? Like nothing? Or like I'm sure Scott was back there helping give direction and stuff. So like who, if anybody, I guess, stepped up in that role, or like what was the change that you noticed there, if there was any?
I didn't notice any changes, to be perfectly honest. I know that he had the final saying and everything, but we stay with the same people that were writing the stories and directing stuff around. He was just like the final boss. He was the one who said yes or no.
Shout out The Rock, by the way. No gimmick infringement there on that one.
To me, my final boss is Meiko Satomura. So,
well, I wanted to ask you about that. So I'm so glad you brought it up. It's like you read my mind. So, you know, you spent some years in NXT UK, correct? Like how many years were you there? It was like 3, I want to say, or 2?
Almost 3. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about the Mae Young Classic. They chose you They chose you, like right, to wrestle Meiko
Yeah.
Satomura in the first round. She's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was literally. I remember we were flying, me and the other NXT UK girls, me, Ginny, Tony, and Isla. We were flying from a set of tapings, and we went straight to the US. We went to the PC, and I remember we were like, oh, we're gonna take a bunch of classes and blah 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 up like before the Mae Young. And Sarah Del Rey, which is one of the coaches, she was like, hey girls, now that you're here, let me just tell you your matches. So you go with blah blah blah, you go blah blah blah. Killer Kelly, you're gonna go with Meiko Satomura. I went like blank face. I was like, what? And Sarah was like, aren't you happy with your match? I was like, I'm shocked. I am shocked. I love it. What an opportunity. That is a career defining moment. Like, I was in my pants when she told me that. I was like, oh, you're going to put me with Meiko Satomura. Okay, that's amazing. And then I was like, oh, obviously they want like Meiko Satomura to have like, a quick and easy match, blah, blah, blah. And then I found out how long they wanted.
Yeah,
that
you
it
guys
was going to
went
be,
at it.
yeah, it was going to be the main event of the episode. I was just like, oh my God. We called that match like literally in less than an hour. We had Funaki helping us, and we were just like bouncing each other's ideas off, and we're like, oh my God, she is perfect. She's amazing. I love her. I was literally like telling Meiko, oh Meiko, then you do the cartwheel knee thingy. And she was like, oh, you know that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I was like, Meiko, of course I know. I love you.
That's amazing.
Of course I know all of your moves. And just the match itself, like, it was so special. Like, just to like, I looked amazing in that match.
You did.
Like,
You do. Yeah.
Like, I was just expecting looking like, nothing.
Yeah.
She helped make Killer Kelly.
Yeah.
She really helped with everything going forward. And I remember we finished the match, both of us. It's not like I knew I was going to cry because I was emotional, but Meiko was crying.
Wow.
Meiko was crying. She hugged me. We hugged. We were backstage crying. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, William Regal all came to us. They were like, thank you so much, ladies. This was amazing. We loved it. It was an amazing match. Thank you so much. And I started crying even more. We're just like a wreck backstage, both of us crying, just thanking each other. Like, it was like, it's literally my favorite match ever because of all those reasons. Like, it's WWE, it's Meiko Satomura.
Right.
It's my idols saying that I did a great job.
Yeah.
Is the fans going bananas for it at Full Sail. Like, it was great.
It was, and it really put you on the map, like with myself, for sure. I'm like, okay, we're watching her from now on. So it was just spectacular. And it's awesome that it resonates with you like that, because I feel like when I think about even her time in WWE, that's the match. I just think of that tournament in general, and it was really cool. Speaking of like Shawn Michaels and Triple H and TNA, and there's all these crossovers happening. We've seen the Rascals pop. It's amazing. We see, of course, the door was sort of kicked down. Well, I mean, you could bring it back and say Mickie James sort of did it first in the Rumble there, and then we see Jordan Grace, and then we see the Rascals come over. We see Joe Hendry, who's over like Rover. Is that
Amazing.
something you again? You've been there. You've been in the WWE system, as they like to call it.
Yeah.
What do you foresee that possibly in your future? Like, hey, I'll cross over, or is that something you're at all interested in, or is your focus like, I'm going to come back to TNA when I do and just do the best I can there?
Well, absolutely, I want to cross over. Absolutely, like, I've been teasing it with my friend Tatum.
Yep.
Absolutely, because it's such a it's such a cool thing that is happening nowadays. It's history. it's something that they're gonna talk about like years to come. Like, oh, and then TNA crossover with WWE, and they're
Absolutely.
exchanging talents and blah blah blah. Like that's cool. Of course, I want to be part of it.
Yep.
Of course, my main focus will always be TNA, but just going back to NXT, which was the first place that Killer Kelly was, it's poetry. It's really cool. Like whenever I'm clear to wrestle again, like I want to be part of it.
So, and you don't have to divulge any, but any timeline on you when you think maybe you'll be back, or you don't even have to tell me if you don't want, but just
like I haven't been very vocal about it because I literally do not have a timeline right now.
Yeah.
Like it sucks, but I don't. But whenever I'm ready, I'll show up.
yeah. No, well, we know
because I'm itching to come back with this whole thing going on. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know, and also like we're talking about what's going on in TNA. Well, you know, we brought up Masha earlier, and she's doing her thing with Militia is the team name, but it's no MK Ultra in my book. Hey, I'm not. It's no MK Ultra. I'm just saying. Nah. So is your aspirations when you get back to work, like is it like, hey, I want to team up with Masha again, or maybe a feud with her, or you just whatever they got from me, or like, are you looking forward to teaming with Masha again? Because if you think about it, with the crossovers, I mean, WWE also has those women's tag titles over there, and there's not a lot of real teams, not as many as well oiled as MK Ultra is. So, what are your aspirations there? And I don't know, you and Masha possibly in the future again.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. Like it wasn't it wasn't my decision, the whole MK Ultra thing to end. It wasn't at all. So I don't know what was going on with that. But you never know. I feel like it would be a good opportunity with me coming back and with the whole WWE thing going on, and me already being familiar with both Isla and Alba. I feel like it would be a nice thing to do. It would be really nice. Put a couple of almost serial killers with some witches.
Yep, I love it.
It would be a good mix. It would be a really good mix.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. So we talked a little bit about Meiko Satomura. So would you say she's like your all-time favorite if you had to pick one? Like, we're not trying to lower one to raise another here, nothing like that. But if you had to pick one male or female all-timer, who's Killer Kelly's all-timer? Or you can give me a couple. You can give me a couple if you need.
Oh my God. So my all-timer, like, is Shibata.
Ooh, let's go.
Yeah, he's my all-timer, and but there's a lot of wrestlers from that, you know, were part of my journey as I was growing up. So I have a lot. Like I was early obsessed with John Cena. I love John Cena, and I love Kurt Angle, and I loved Gail Kim. I love the beautiful people. Like it's all like such a diversity of wrestlers. None of them match each other. None of them. And I'm also obsessed with Minoru Suzuki once I became a wrestler.
Yeah.
And so there's like a lot of people that I take inspiration of. Like Meiko is definitely like the top dog.
Up there, yeah.
I love her for everything that she's done for me.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, and even not knowing me and betting on me and taking me to Japan, like she made a lot of my dreams come true.
Wow.
And she's the greatest.
A gem, yeah.
She is.
So like, who would be your dream match opponent? Any promotion, any wrestler that's active right now? The forbidden door or the prohibited portals have been opened wide in the wrestling biz. Who's active right now? Anyone, you, them, one-on-one. Who's your dream match right now?
God damn. I haven't had like a dream match for a while now. I just, I just see people that it would be like a nice mix to have, like in the ring.
Mhm.
Like, for sure, I would love to wrestle Suzuki, for sure.
Mhm.
Like that would be like a dream come true. But then there's other things like me and Tony, we wrestle a lot of times in Germany with WXW, and it was the old Tony and it was the old Killer Kelly. And
Tony Storm, sorry, you're
yeah, Tony Storm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So like I've known her for years, and now with this new character, I just feel like,
Oh,
maybe it would be so cool having Killer Kelly versus Tony, the new timeless Tony
mhm.
Storm. It would be such a cool like experience and cool mix. But then I also think of the wrestling. So that would be more like character, and it would be so much fun. And I feel like I'm hitting my age. The age where I want to have a lot of fun in wrestling, and that would be like amazing.
Mhm.
But then like to push myself to the limit, I would be like, maybe I would love to wrestle Io Shirai, Io Sky.
Mhm.
That would be crazy. Like she would beat the living out of me. I
Yeah.
would love it. And I would test my limits. I mean, I don't know, round 2 with Meiko as well.
Yes.
I don't know. There's so many things. Like I need to see like what's the that would benefit me long term. That all
Right.
of those matches would benefit me long term. Like they would be amazing to have.
I got one more question for you here. So you talked about EO beating the shit out of you. Stiffest person you ever worked, who beat the shit out of you the worst?
Oh my god, I even tell tell the story nowadays. Dash Shizako. Dash. She was so hard. Like it was. So it was me and Sheeta versus Dash and oh my god, I forgot her name. God damn it. I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering her name. Anyway, it was at Korakuen Hall.
Mhm.
And I got, what was it? Upper hand or something like that knocked me out on my feet. I don't know how I continued the match. And then she gave me the worst double foot stomp of my life. That I was just like,
Oh my
and,
goodness.
and I may or may not have peed on myself in the middle of Korakuen Hall. May or may not. That
Oh
was
my god.
hard. That was hard. I was like, I'm so glad that the match is over because this is so embarrassing.
Did Killer Kelly pee yourself in
Oh my
Corrigan
god.
Hall? We'll leave that one
Oh
for the dirt sheets to
yeah.
uncover if it happened or not. But Kelly, I thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you. Why don't you let the good folks, the good PWT listeners know like what you have going on, your social medias, anything you need to plug, anything you feel that people should know about. The floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Okay, guys, you already know all the social media. We have x.com/Kelly_WP, Instagram.com, Kelly Wrestling. And I have my own fan site, which is brandarmy.com/Killer Kelly, where I post like fun photo shoots that I do. I mostly post about my cat.
Okay.
And just random things that are happening. Like there's a lot of behind the scenes of the movie that I just shot. So there's that. So yeah, people, subscribe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. I
Thank you for
appreciate you,
having
ladies
me.
and gentlemen. Killer Kelly did the damn thing, and I'm frozen over here, Kelly. So if you leave me, it's okay. I appreciate you so much.
I can still hear you, so it's
That's
okay.
good. That's good. But bye for now, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Toodles.